The best time of the year. First up, Timberwolves came into LA and beat the Lakers by 22.
Were you surprised?
I was very surprised.
Okay.
I wasn't surprised that they won. I was surprised in the fashion in which they won.
Okay.
And obviously, they're not going to shoot 50% from the three-point line the rest of the series. But fast break points, 25-6, that kind of concern me from a standpoint of Lakers just an older team, and if they can't slow down, normally the playoffs are slower, but if you're able to get 26 fast break or 25 fast break points in a playoff game, you're really doing something. So
Luka's 26 years old,
but Luka's never really been one for the lateral speed or defensive.
I agree.
Lockdown.
I'm just saying they're not an old team anymore.
But he still kind of moves like he's older on the defensive end, not on the offensive end. But what was your take from that? Obviously, Bron didn't shoot the ball well.
Yeah.
And again, I think people like Gina, who's in here, who thinks, oh, it's over, Minnesota's going to win. I definitely don't want to go that far, but it was definitely, it opened my eyes a little bit.
I thought the Lakers would end up winning this series because I just thought that they would outgun Minnesota in the end. That's how the Lakers are going to win any playoff series this year. They're just going to pour in so many points with such a potent offense that they can make up for their defensive deficiencies. But where it falls apart is if you can have someone who can really drive the lane and make you pay at the basket, because they just don't have that interior defense anymore. And Anthony Edwards, I was really impressed. He was so disciplined. Because we saw him in the Western Conference Finals last year after having such a good run through the first two rounds, kind of under the pressure of playing on that stage. Had a good few games, but then kind of started to be a little wild, that sort of thing. Got tired, but also just a little bit making not great decisions. And he made excellent decisions in game one. He deserves a lot of credit for that, and really just sort of pinpoint attacked where the Lakers were weak. And you say about the threes, obviously they got to hit the threes, but the Lakers' defensive plan ever since the trade has basically been leave three-point shooters generally alone. Pack the paint because they just don't have an AD type presence anymore. And you can't hit them all. Yeah. And the Wolves hit them.
Yeah, they hit them. And obviously, Lakers, I want to say Lakers hit 15 threes. McDaniels, had a very solid game, 25 points. I think Randall came back to LA with a little bit of chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
I think that missed the matchup between him and Bron. Obviously, that's a matchup the Lakers have to win. And what were your thoughts with just Bron not being very aggressive early on?
I can't tell if he's a little bit hurt because he tweaked, he sat out with that hip groin thing. And then it looked like he tweaked it. Now, that was, a good 10 days ago at this point. But still, I can't tell if his mobility is affected at all or just mentally by making sure that he doesn't tweak it again or anything like that. Yeah. And also, he has a different role on this team now. And I think he's very grateful for that. Yeah. But it is different than we're used to seeing him. We're used to seeing him this is the first time he has ever, in my memory, played with a guy who he doesn't have to be the guy in the fourth quarter. Do you remember? I mean, I don't remember a team he's played on where it wasn't down to him in the fourth.
And just so many times, Rachel, it's the random stuff where maybe the ball will be inbounded to Bron and he'll just toss it to Luka right away. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think this is what he wanted, but obviously kind of figuring out how to play within that will be interesting. And if anyone can figure it out, it will be him. And I know, knowing JJ, these guys will definitely be ready for game two. But Minnesota came and did what they had to do. Even if they, they won one on the opponent's court, which is all they have to do. They can lose next game and still have home court heading back home. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out. The Lakers come out next game. Thoughts on the series at this point?
I thought going in, and I still think it's the most likely that the Lakers will overwhelm the Wolves with how many points they can pour in. LeBron will have a great night at one point in this series. Luka, of course, already scored 30 plus. He will do that again and again. We know he can drop 50 when he wants to.
Indeed.
So we'll just have to see how much Ant can take advantage of going to the basket. They're going to still need more from Rudy Gobert. I don't know if you think that's possible. And I just don't know if the point totals are going to measure up because I just don't see anyone who can guard Luka on that team. And we saw it, by the way, last season.
One thing, too, before we switch series, one thing I think the Lakers did was they let Gobert off the hook too much. He was out guard on the perimeter. They didn't attack him. Yeah. And they allowed him to stay in the game, and then he'll get a lob every once in a while and kind of keep that rim threat on the offensive end. So it'll be interesting. Obviously, Jackson Hayes only played 8 minutes, so JD didn't feel he was very effective. So it'll be interesting to see what the strategy is coming into game two. But I still feel like the Lakers will get it. It won't be in 5. It'll probably be in 6 or 7, which I don't think they want to do because obviously they need as much time for Bron to rest and heal if he's a little tweaked as possible. So it'll definitely be an interesting series going forward.